Great, we are now live. Okay, Instagram, we've been live for a minute or so. So welcome, Facebook community. Kasey D'Amato here, president of Certified PA Consulting. Welcome to the first Tuesday Town Hall of 2021. So happy New Year, everybody. Certified PA Consulting is committing to every Tuesday, 12:30 East Coast, hosting a town hall where we will answer questions from our town hall community. It's free, of course, for everybody who wants to view. Facebook Live, Instagram Live is always free. The questions we're answering are from our community members. If you want to become part of the town hall community with Certified PA Consulting, we are answering questions related to salaries and contracts, negotiation skills, clinical and non-clinical opportunities, and business startups and career burnout. Those are the things that we're going to be addressing in our Tuesday town halls. We are committed to helping continue to serve our PA peers. For those who know me, I am a PA myself. Been consulting since 2009, and I'm the leading expert in PA salaries, negotiations, business consulting, and life and career coaching. So I am here to serve you and get as much information out to you this year because things are a lot different. The landscape is a lot different than ever before. So I'm committing to coming live every single Tuesday. So if you are not a member of our town hall, look at all these questions we're getting. Please email team at Certified PA Consulting. We'll send you a quick questionnaire so you can send your questions in. And every week I'll address as many questions as we can, and we'll kind of continue to work through them. Common ones that come up, we'll make sure we're getting addressed. So please email team at Certified PA Consulting, become a member of our town hall community. It's free, completely free, and we'll answer your questions here because we don't have time to answer everybody's emails one-on-one. So that's why we're putting this out here. If you can't catch it live, no worries. It will be posted on our Facebook page, Certified PA Consulting's Facebook page, so you can watch these after the fact. So make sure that you email. Let me try on Facebook right now. Let me get some sticky notes going so that you can see the things that you can write questions about here. Hopefully you can see this: salary, negotiation, burnout, contracts, career advancement, like accelerating clinical or non-clinical, business. I think we covered it. Those are the things we're going to be talking about in our weekly town hall. So hopefully you can see the sticky note on this new platform that I'm using on the Facebook page. On Instagram, you can't see that. So it's a little bit more robust. If you click over to the Facebook Live, you're going to be able to see a little bit more because I can put little sticky notes on this app. Hopefully everybody can see them. So you can write questions in if you have something quick to ask, but mostly we're going to be answering questions from our town hall community. Again, if you're not a member of our town hall community, email team at Certified PA Consulting, and you'll fill out a quick questionnaire, send questions, and these are the questions we're going to be answering. So welcome to the new year. Let's dive in with some questions, and we've got questions coming in from all over the country. A lot of different specialties already in our town hall community that's only 4 days old. We've got derm PAs, ortho PAs, family med PAs, urgent care, pain management. So any specialty, if you have a question related to salary, negotiation, burnout, contracts, career advancement, or business, please become a member of the community. Send us your questions and I will answer live free here. If your colleagues have questions, tag them on Instagram or on Facebook on our Certified PA Consulting page and let them know that we are here as a free resource. So please take advantage. We committed a lot of time at the beginning of the pandemic to getting free information out, and now we're dealing with a whole new landscape in 2021 when it comes to the business of being a PA, and we are here to support you. So let's dive in. Hopefully you can see on the scrolling banner on the Facebook page how to get in touch with us as well. Okay, so diving into one of the first questions, which is a great question coming in. This is coming from a derm PA who's been in the same practice for 10 years with 15 years of total experience and is wondering if 35% collections is appropriate. So great question that comes up all the time, talking about historical experience and is that relevant when you're negotiating to a straight percentage or an increased salary or whatever it might be, right? So be careful when you're negotiating about talking about prior experience. And loyalty is important for sure, but much more powerful to talk about the future and how you want to carry the practice into the future. Now, when we're talking numbers, when we're talking about these 35% or 30% or 40% or 25%, whatever that number is one piece of the puzzle. What you also need to calculate is your total benefit package, and also kind of account for if you have a dedicated staff person that's always with you, because, or 2 or 3, because those people are very expensive. And believe it or not, the collections that you generate need to cover your dedicated staff as well as your benefit package and your salary. So while 35% for an experienced PA, could that be appropriate? It could be. It very well could be, depending on the benefit package costs, depending on the dedicated staff support, and depending on the collections. So those are the factors that you need to look at. So you need to look at the annual collections, you need to look at the current salary package, the current cost of the benefit package, the current cost of the dedicated staff support, not people answering the phone or billing team. Those people would still be there, even if you, as your individual provider, your individual PA self isn't there, the other people would still be there. But if you have a dedicated MA, that person wouldn't be there if you're not there. If they didn't replace you with another provider, that MA wouldn't be there. So you need to factor in all those costs, because as from the business owner standpoint, they need to be able to cover all of those costs from the money that you're generating. And from that grand total, when you calculate your cost to practice, for those of us who have worked with us with private consulting or taken our negotiation masterclass, which is coming back in February, by the way, you know that the most important thing to calculate when you're calculating if you have room to negotiate is your total cost to practice percentage. And that's how you know if 35% is appropriate or not. In a lot of instances, it very well could be. And in some instances, it might not be. And those instances would be if the collections are low and the cost of the PAU is high, meaning a lot of benefits, a dedicated staff, or 2 or 3 with low collections. So there's 2 buckets. There's the money coming in that you're generating and the money going out that you cost the practice. And that ratio really has to be in balance. So long, complicated story is we really don't have enough information here to know if 35% is appropriate. It very, very well could be. There's a lot of PAs that have salaries at 35%, and based on their collection numbers, based on their cost of their benefit package, based on the cost of their medical assistants and dedicated staff, it 100% makes sense. And in some instances, it might be high if your collections are low, staff support is high, and benefit package is high. So those need to be in alignment. And if you don't know how to do that, contact us. Sign up for our masterclass and we can walk through really in detail how to do that for you. So long answer to that is it very well could be appropriate, but the biggest takeaway is, remember, it's not about being in the practice for 10 years or 15 years. It's about the value of that is important, but more so where you want to take that practice or your micro business within that practice for the long-term future. That is important distinction when you're negotiating. Talk about what you want to do to help the practice grow your micro business or advance your skills, or collaboratively help as a team align your goals with the practice's goals so that everybody's on the same page moving forward. That is the most impactful. You can make small wins negotiating, talking about your historical loyalty. You can negotiate successfully and get some small nuggets and some small increases in salary, but the big wins, the people, the PAs that are negotiating extremely well, they're negotiating salaries of 200, 250, 300. We've even had a client recently over $400,000 a year in salary. These are people who are aligning their goals with the practice's goals. Everybody's on the same page and they're accelerating really fast. So talking about the future is the way to significantly propel your negotiation strategy. Talking about the past will give you small wins, small nuggets, and small pieces, incremental increases over time. But talking about the future goals, your goals and the practice's goals, everybody getting on the same page, making sure you're working together, and then accelerating, those are the big, big dramatic wins and the big outliers of people that are really in the top of the pay scale. So that's the most important note I want to point I want to make. And actually, I'm going to put a sticky note here. on the Facebook page. I know Instagram, you can't see this. Let me see if I can get another sticky note going. Let's see. I think I can get a second one. Still learning this technology, so bear with me, guys. Sticky notes. We got one here. Let's try and get another one. Here we go. Okay, so the number one, focus a little bit on the past. Loyalty is important, but focus a lot. Focus on the future. Align your goals and focus on the future when you're negotiating. Super important. Okay, let's dive into another question here because I spent a lot of time on that one. So, okay, let's see here. We've got, okay, another great question. Currently don't see your collections as a PA, have casually asked, but still don't see your collections. So this is really important, particularly in private practice. In certain specialties, more so than others. Very common in derm. It's getting more common in other specialties. And believe it or not, it's actually starting to become more and more common in, we did a consult for a huge ER group, and it's starting to become a little bit more common to even look at it in hospital groups. But really important in private practice to start to pay attention to your collection numbers, especially if you're in a solo private practice, because that's how you really can calculate, as from a business owner's perspective, do you truly have room to negotiate? Because if you don't know your collections, how do you really know what your cost is compared to what you're generating, what that ratio is, what that sweet spot is, cost to practice percentage that we talk about a lot at Certified PA Consulting, somewhere between 25 and low 40%, like 43, 45%. Cost to practice. That's not salary. That's the cost to practice. You've got to know your collections to be able to calculate that cost to practice. And it's not your cost of your salary. It's the cost of your benefits. It's the cost of your staff. It's everything that encompasses you being there. So that's the true cost of practice. And you've got to know what your collections are in order to calculate that cost of practice. So if you don't know, don't worry, because you can extrapolate this pretty easily. You can keep a log for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, of the most common procedures that you do, and you can look up the reimbursement rates for, let's say, Medicare and maybe the Blues in your state, and you can see what the reimbursement amounts are. Now, it doesn't matter what you bill out. It only matters what's being collected and reimbursed. If you track for about a week, 2 weeks ideally, because then you get a little bit more of a trend over time. Don't worry about the codes that you did those 2 weeks, but you rarely use them. Pay attention to the ones that you do frequently, like your top 12 codes that you are using all the time, super common for you and your patient population, your practice, and track it. You can track it on a paper log, on your phone, whatever, and then you can extrapolate that week or 2 weeks into your full year's collections, which is probably about a 48-week annual, a revenue collection time period. No one's working 52 weeks a year. You're probably working somewhere around 48 weeks if you calculate holidays, vacation time, conference time, what have you. And then you can get a rough idea. It's not going to be exact, but you can get a rough idea of your collections. Now, keep in mind, this came up recently with a private client, that if you're dealing with a population that is heavily Medicaid or subsidized by lower income population, that can affect your collections. So keep that in mind. That's going to be a little bit different than Medicare or private insurance. So keep that in mind. Your collections are going to be a little bit different than some of your colleagues. And in some cases, that can impact your ability to negotiate because there's less revenue coming in. Now, remember, negotiating is not only about revenue. So let me see if I can make another sticky note about this, because this is another important note. Yeah, I can here. Okay, so when you're negotiating, if you're on Facebook right now, you should be able to see my sticky notes. When you're negotiating, there is multiple factors. So let's list some. One is the revenue that you're generating, right? That medicine, private practice is a business, so you need to know what are the collections or estimate that. 2, you need to have focused on the future and aligned goals, right? You've got to know that if you You want to learn some new type of clinical skill that your practice sees value in that. Or maybe you're interested in getting involved in management or heading up a satellite office, and your practice is so appreciative. They need help on the management side. They will give you a raise to take on more management role if that's what they want. If it's what you want, but not what they want, and they don't see value in it, then guess what? They're not going to give you more money for it. So you've got to have aligned goals. If you want to do something, the practice has got to see value in that, and not every practice and every PA are not aligned. So the future, aligning your goals is really important. Your revenue and what you're generating, especially in private practice. Practice is business. It is. Number one business is good patient quality care. Number one, always. Number one is good patient quality care. However, if there's no revenue coming in, if there's nothing being reimbursed, the practice will fail and go bankrupt. And we're seeing that right now from the pandemic. So you've got to know your revenue and what that looks like. You've got to align your future goals, because that's how you know how you can accelerate, like some of these PAs that are super, super successful, and focus on the future, not so much on the past. Don't worry about your peers. And number three, the value that you're bringing to the practice. That value does not have to be revenue related. And again, if you're on Facebook right now, you should be able to see these sticky notes. I'm experimenting with a new technology, so hopefully you can see these. So you want to show your value in addition to the money that you're generating. Now, if you work for someone that you know is a money motivated type of practice owner, then that might be all they care about. But if you are working with someone that has and we just had a client like this, actually, a physician client who called us and hired us to work with her to help her understand how to create an incentive structure for her PA. And as we started talking to her, we were brainstorming all these ways to increase revenue. And she said, I don't care about my PA making any more revenue. In fact, I don't want my PA to make any more revenue, because our practice reputation is all about quality of care. We spend 45 minutes with every patient, and I don't want my PA or myself to feel rushed or to see more frequent patients than that. That's not what our practice is all about. That's not why I went into medicine. We're not a mill. That's not for me. So in that case, for this particular practice, this physician owner was much more concerned about the value of patient retention and the value of the reputation in the practice in the community. She was not concerned about revenue. So bringing your value to the practice for what the practice owner sees as valuable. It is not always revenue related. And we talk a lot about this, a whole module in our masterclass. So I did want to talk about that, because that is super important when we're talking about negotiating skills. And I know I got way off track with how to calculate your numbers if you don't see a collection report. But circling back, I got excited, sorry. Circling back to that point, you can estimate your collections even if you keep a paper note for a week. A 1 week or 2 weeks, even better, because that gives you a little bit more sampling. Don't worry about the codes that you use once in a while that you happen to use during those 2 weeks. Focus on how many times you build out a 99213, if that's a common code for you. Focus on the codes that you use all the time. Count how many times you use them in that 1 week or 2 week period, and then extrapolate that out for a 48 annual work week. And then you'll know, and you can look up the reimbursements for that code for the 99213 in your area from Medicare Blues, the Blues. That's all you need to know. You don't need to look up every insurance. That'll give you enough of a rough idea. And you can do the math, and you can figure out loosely. Now there is some margin of error, but you can figure out loosely what your collections probably are. So that was a long story. So I know I got sidetracked. So I know we are almost out of time. So again, if you're just tuning in here late, this is Tuesday Town Hall for Certified PA Consulting. I'm Kasey D'Amato. We are on Facebook Live using a platform where I'm putting sticky notes and titles and key points for salaries, negotiations, discussions about terms of contracts. We're going to talk about burnout. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about so many different things. So if you want to become, we're answering questions from our community. So if you want to join our community, it is free. email team@Certified PA Consulting, and we'll send you a quick questionnaire. You can write any question that you have. It's anonymous. We will never say your name or anything like that. And we will talk about these common questions free every Tuesday, 12:30 East Coast. It will be posted on Certified PAs Consulting's Facebook page. So if you miss it, don't worry. If you're in clinic, you can come back and watch it anytime. So please tag your friends, tag your colleagues from your specialty, from your PA programs. Let them know that we are here. We're providing the service 100% free because we're getting so many questions and the landscape has changed, everybody. 2021 is different. That 2020 changed the landscape for negotiating for PAs, probably forever, but that's okay. That's okay. We can navigate the waters, no problem. So make sure you tag your friends, let them know we're here. This is free. We also have free guides. I almost forgot. We have 2 free guides you can download. If you go to certifiedpaconsulting.com and you go scroll down the homepage to the salary negotiation, that's what we're focusing on in January. We're going to focus on more business and career burnout stuff as we go in, but so many people are negotiating end of year or beginning of year contracts. We're getting as much information out to you as we can right now. So if you go to Certified PA Consulting, halfway down the page, click on Salaries and Negotiations. And within that, you'll see 2 free guides you can download. One is 6 tips on negotiating strategies, and the other one is how to advance your career as a PA. That is everything from how to get more access to more jobs, everything. So go ahead and download those. There's a lot of tips in there. I think there's 6 and 11, so like 17 tips. Things if you're not doing, you can start doing. And of course, we're here. If you need one-on-one coaching, we're always here. Email team@Certified PA Consulting. So let me see if I can squeeze in one more because I know I got on a little late trying to figure out the platform on the Facebook Live. Okay. Here's a good one. Okay. Boss asked me to make a contract. Should I overshoot or put what is reasonable? That's an excellent question. And if you talk to a panel of people like me that are considered experts in the area of negotiation, in life coaching, career coaching, who have started multiple businesses, I've even sold a business, I've worked with shareholders, I've worked with private equity. So negotiating is not something that's new for me by any means, but if you interview a panel of people that are experts in negotiation, you're going to get all different responses to the do you overshoot or do you come in reasonable? So my response to that is you've got to kind of estimate the personality that you're dealing with on the other side. So if you're dealing with someone who is very business savvy and is probably going to negotiate with you, you know they're going to play a hard game. You may want to overshoot a bit, knowing that you're going to settle someplace in the middle. If you are dealing with someone who is also uncomfortable negotiating, is truly scientific minded, physician focused, or administrator they just don't like having those conversations about the numbers. They'd rather focus on patient care. They just, give them something that's reasonable and move on, then do that. So I think you've got to use a little bit of your intuition and your gut check when it comes to, do you overshoot? Because if you're dealing with a physician that is really focused on patient care, like the example I spoke about, that person could be offended or put off if you really ask for something that's, the moon. But if you are dealing with someone who is business savvy and they're going to really play a hard bargain in the negotiation, and they're probably going to counter negotiate with you, then I would overshoot a little bit, expecting that you're probably going to land someplace in the middle. So I think you've got to use your judgment. Again, if you ask a panel of people, you're going to get a lot of different answers. And in medicine, it's a bit unique because depending on what type of practice or where you're negotiating and with who, it's very different than the way we negotiate in the business sector, when we're always dealing with somebody who is very sophisticated negotiating. So the way that I negotiate in business for my other companies or the company that we just sold is very different than the way that I would negotiate in some instances with certain physicians. So you do have to kind of use your judgment a little bit with personalities and deciding if you want to really put something out there that is really high, knowing that they may not go for that, but they'll meet you in the middle. If the person is business sophisticated, then do that. I think that's a great strategy. And if not, if you think it's going to offend somebody, then just come in with what you think is reasonable and move on and get back to serving patients, treating patients, and accelerating your career. If you don't know how to accelerate, go get the guide. It's free at Certified PA Consulting. Okay, if you have questions, please email us, team at Certified PA Consulting. I got to run. I have another meeting every Tuesday, 12:30 East Coast, and it will go live on our page. Hopefully this new platform and technology that I'm using will save it on the page. And hopefully I'll do everything right to make sure it does get saved on the Facebook page. So hop on over. We are excited to be here and commit to this for 2021 and make sure that you have all the answers that you need for your negotiation to advance your career, to avoid career burnout, to transition to something non-clinical if that feels right for you, or to start a business. You know, we're working with a lot of people right now that are starting businesses, clinical and non-clinical, and that's super exciting. I love PA entrepreneurs, of course. I am one, and I support you. So whatever we can do to help and support you in your business ventures as well. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign off. Let me sign off on Instagram here first. All right, everybody on Instagram, have a great day. We will see you soon. All right, let's see here. We got this. Okay, Instagram is off. We're going to share that on IGTV. So it is there. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so technology challenged with all of this stuff. We got to put a title on here. Tuesday Town Hall. All right. Okay, here it goes. So that is on IGTV. It should be. Okay, that should be there. And then Facebook, everybody have a great day. We'll see you soon. I'll try to hop in the discussion forums where I can. Come on over, Certified PA Consulting, tag your friends. Free. Join the town hall community. Look at everybody who's joining. Send us your questions and we will answer. We're here for you. We're the leading experts when it comes to PAs, contracts, negotiating, advancing your career. We are certified life and career coaches. We've been doing this for 10 years, well over a decade, and we are here for you, committing as much time as we can for free. So make sure you come on over, take advantage of us. All right, everyone, have a great week. We'll see you next week.